Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us again for the second part of our live talk, What to Expect After Expecting. Um, I'm so happy and excited. Tonight we have two amazing speakers with years of experience. We have Darlise Barron, who is our licensed clinical social worker, and we have Miss Karen Roberts, who is referred to as baby whisperer. Well, as I decrease, I'm going to allow them to increase. Good evening, ladies.
Hi.
Good evening. Hello. Uh-oh. Did we get stuck again?
I think she did.
Yeah, I don't know if
Good,
is there
good.
bad weather or something?
How are you this evening? How am I now? Am I good?
We just hearing you, yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
you're much better. We're
Yeah.
cleared up.
Okay, okay, good. So we're gonna start with Karen. Tell us a bit about yourself, what you do, and then we're going to hear from Darlise. Give us again what you do, and then we can start our conversation.
Right. I work as a private baby nurse. That we are those people that come in and help a new mom when she comes home with the baby. Sometimes we go to the hospital and meet the mom, bring the baby home, and teach mom and dad everything about this new baby.
Okay. Good evening, ladies and everyone out there. My name is Darlise Barron. I am a licensed clinical social worker, and I reside in Miami, Florida. I have private practice. I've been in practice for the last 20 years and private practice for the last 5 years. And I'm back for part two. All good things with mental health and postpartum.
Well, awesome. Thank you again, ladies. So, Kieran,
Yes.
tell us what you do. You come home with mom and baby, and just explain away what you
And
do.
as soon as mom comes in with this baby, you come in. And one thing we learn in training, when that baby comes from the hospital, we put the baby on the changing table, we strip the baby, and we check and make sure everything is okay with this baby. Because what can happen if something goes wrong, we as the workers coming in, we can be blamed for stuff we know nothing about. And then if you know what's on the baby, when you bring that baby home, when if something changes, you will know. So those are things that we look for. We come in, we teach. Sometimes we talk about bonding with a new baby.
This is happening right now.
I think we just got cut off.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It,
I don't know what's going on today, ladies. This isn't good.
no, it's fine.
I don't know what's
We'll
going
move
on.
past it. Okay, as I'm saying, the first thing we do, we when we talk about having a parent bond with a baby, that's not always the case. I've
Mm.
seen it a lot of times where moms would come home with this baby and they don't even want to touch this baby. They wouldn't
Wow.
touch the baby. They don't want to look at the baby. So we, as baby nurses, we have to come in and identify these signs to see
Okay.
if mom is in distress. Because a lot of the times it's more mental than actually physical. But you
Mm-hmm.
have to be able
Mm-hmm.
to find what it is. That's why it's important too to have conversations, open conversations with a new mom. Then you kind of figure out where the head is at and how they're thinking and what their expectations are. It will teach you what your expectation would be for that particular mom, because every mom is different. Every baby that comes home is different, so we have to be very mindful in expecting mom to do exactly what we think mom should be doing.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing you say is that when you're coming home, with these mothers and the babies, you're definitely looking at signs of postpartum depression. So that's a
Yes.
that's a big one that you're looking at, not only
Yes.
looking at the baby for the physical, but you're looking at mom too to see
Yes.
her level of stress, her level of distress from
Yes.
being a mother and bringing this new infant home and how she's going to take care of this infant,
Yes.
which we go back to the whole, premise of, open arms, where depression and being overwhelmed and having the loss of interest in this
Yeah.
little baby
Yeah.
and the difficulties that it brings on
Mm-hmm.
for these new parents. Are you finding it with new parents and with old parents, or someone that's had other children, or are you finding it mostly with new parents?
It's kind of both, mostly new parents though, because like, okay, a mom that would have two kids home or another kid home, what they do, they take their focus off of this baby and they put it on this kid,
Okay.
right? So I have a few contrary views with that, because I remember leaving a job once and the little boy was like, Gail, I'm like, hi, sweetheart, you're leaving your baby. Oh, yeah, because mom took no part,
Oh,
right?
wow.
And
Mm-hmm.
the brother, he thought it was my baby. So when I took my stuff to leave the job, it's like, you're leaving your baby behind. So things like that we have to be mindful of, because if there's
Mm-hmm.
a bigger sibling or two, we have to be
Yes.
in a position where we can interact with those kids, letting them understand this baby is your baby. This baby is not really my baby. I'm here to help you with your baby. You know?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So another thing we have to look at too, because moms, they think that, oh, they're taking the love away from the bigger sibling, and they're
Mm-hmm.
not understanding that you have to include the bigger sibling, because this baby is staying. This baby isn't going anywhere.
Exactly. And do you find that, when the mothers or the parents include the whole family, it becomes
Yeah.
a family of, this
Yeah.
whole village
Yeah.
is included, that the orientation and the simulation, it's less, or
Yes.
you're seeing less of the postpartum depression, because now it's everyone that's pitching in, that's my baby brother, that's my baby sister, that's my new baby, and come and see your brother and sister. The titles and the sharing and caring is more when this sibling was introduced early on with the pregnancy.
Yes and no. Because sometimes a mom would come and have all the help, and she would
Okay.
still have something happening in her body. But okay, we understand it's hormones, but
Mm-hmm.
she not understanding that, because in the back of her head is like, I'm not really feeling this baby, and I don't know why I can't connect with this baby.
Wow.
And sometimes they try to put it on the older one. Okay, if I love this one, it wouldn't look as if I'm
Mm,
not looking after this one.
okay.
So
Okay.
they sometimes leave that baby to you. So some
Mm-hmm.
of the babies, you feel as if it's your baby.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
because the mom, that's why, again, I have conversations with some of these moms, because you realize behind your head, um, some of them are not even conscious of what they're doing, because it
Mm-hmm.
feels normal. It's like,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and then it have others, it doesn't feel normal, but they're ashamed. So
Yes.
they
The
wouldn't
shame
know.
and the guilt.
Yes. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm so guilty because I should love this baby and I should want this baby. I should
Yeah.
want to love this baby, but I can't,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and then you have to give them space to be able to feel that.
Mm-hmm.
We can't be like, okay, you're a mom and this is what you have to do. And no, we
Exactly.
can't be that, because that's
Mm-hmm.
not how
Mm-hmm.
this works. Because that will
No,
send
not at
you
all.
deeper into depression. So sometimes
Yes.
conversation alone could, sometimes you go and you just say, okay, put your feet up, and you rub their feet. Or come, let me give you a little shoulder massage. Little things that would
Mm-hmm.
start to calm them down. It's like, I got you. I got the baby. You
Okay.
know?
So again, it just seems like a lot of times that you're looking at these mothers that, you're going to see that postpartum depression is there.
Yes.
We don't want to call it depression, but it
No.
is. It's, we're looking at a lot of signs, the
Yeah.
signs of being guilty, the sign of I'm not worthy of taking care of
Mm-hmm.
this infant.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you take care of it. When I'm ready, I'll take the baby back. But then if you're not forced to help her through this, what we
Yeah.
can call a tunnel, she
Yeah.
gets stuck.
Yeah.
And she has to get through the tunnel in
Yeah.
order for her to realize, hey, you do have support,
Yeah.
But when your support is gone, what are you going to do? You're going to have to kind of work through
Mm-hmm.
this while I'm here with you,
Yeah.
and we're doing this together in order for you to bond with the baby, because the baby's staying.
Yeah.
It's not coming with me with my suitcase.
That's right. And you know, exactly. And that's a main part of the job. Okay, as much as you come for the baby, I've been on jobs already where I became best friends with mom, even dad. Because sometimes in the night, if I'm in the night I'm there, dad and I become really tight because dad would be the one up probably doing something for work, and a conversation would start. And okay, dad, you know, you have to be part of this. This is not all about mom. You have to learn how to change a diaper. You have to learn if you have a projectile poop, what you do. You know, all these little things that they don't think about. And then a lot of the times too, they think that you're coming in, so they don't have to do it. So
Yeah.
it's the same stuff that mom goes through, dad goes through the same thing a lot of the times. So then you have to have that conversation, letting them know, look, this is normal. Everybody
Mm.
don't just gravitate to the baby, because one of the things too that kind of make new moms feel so inadequate is the fact that if you about to leave the hospital and 5 nurses coming the hospital, five of
Yeah.
them will tell you 5 different things.
Oh, wow.
If the doctor come, if a doctor comes, unless they have some trainee doctors and whatever they call them, and they come in, they will tell you 6 different things. So you have so much information overload that they're telling you
Mhm.
this is what is expected, that is what is
Yeah.
expected, and you don't feel as if you're capable to do none of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so you coming home now like this because it's like,
Yeah.
how am I going to do this? You know, and then when you come home, I have had parents already that came home and the baby was in the back in the car seat, and the both of them sat down looking at the baby, and they're looking at each other like, what are we going to do now? They were lost. You know, and then
Mm-hmm.
you have to come in now and okay, let's take the baby out, let's change the baby's clothes, let's see what this baby needs. You know, babies, what time you fed the baby last? If I would not have gone to the hospital to meet the baby, then
Mm-hmm.
I would say, well, okay, what time you fed the baby last? Let's get this. We have to get a
Yeah.
schedule in place because you have to feed the baby a certain time. You have to eat. So things like that. We have to make mom know that, listen, I'm here to help you, but if we get you better quickly, you will be able to start helping yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
And that's, and again, we keep going back to
Yeah.
how much mental
Yeah.
health,
Yes.
mentally,
Yes.
that parents, and again, even new parents or
Yeah.
repeating parents,
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot. It's still
Yeah.
a lot. It's still
Mm-hmm.
brand new. It's still the unknown.
Yeah.
And it's still the, okay, what do we do? Like, there's no books. And if there is a book that says, hey, this is what you do,
Yeah.
it's like, but can I call someone? You know,
Yeah.
hearing someone's voice makes
Yeah.
me feel better,
Yeah.
which again comes back to open arms, right?
Yeah.
So with open arms in wellness, it's like, hey, I need to speak. I need a consultation. I need
Yeah.
someone to tell me, what am I supposed to do at this time if I don't have, a
Mm-hmm.
baby whisperer to tell me, come on, let's go,
Yeah.
So when I
Yeah.
get home, what do I do with this information that's in my head? I'm
Mm-hmm.
already feeling like I'm not worthy of this child,
Yeah.
especially if this is my miracle baby,
Yeah.
you know or I just, it wasn't oops. Now I have to take care of it, and we have to take care of it. What
Yeah.
do we do?
Yeah.
So all these feelings and emotions and thoughts, right, comes up for these ladies and the
Yeah.
dads. I love the fact that you brought up dad
Mm-hmm.
and having this conversation with dad,
Yeah.
because sometimes the father feels like, we have, I call them kissing daddies. They're just there to kiss the baby, hold the
Yeah.
baby. Okay, hey, here you go. The baby needs to be changed. Oh,
I'll hold the
here you
baby
go.
with
Get
one
the
hand.
bottle. So it's like, how do you
Yeah.
participate with mom and for you guys to be a team? Because
Yeah.
this is a team approach when it comes to raising this little baby.
Yeah, yeah, it is. And that's why in the beginning, that's why I have both mom and dad. So we talk to, while we sit standing at the changing table, we will talk. Okay, we have to put a plan in place. So after we get the baby down, we eat baby or babies because I have a lot of
Mm-hmm.
twins, then we will figure out we have to put a plan in place that would make this work. That's why I was saying it earlier to Evie, we have two types of parents: regulators and facilitators. If you go to a pediatrician, they will try to make you a facilitator.
Mm-hmm.
I tell my parents, no, 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 no. I said, because when you bring a baby home, you're bringing a baby into your life,
Mm-hmm.
right? People think that you have to stop your whole life and you bring a baby. So baby is God. Baby's not God.
Yeah.
Baby's a blessing from God. So we
Mm-hmm.
have to
Mm-hmm.
be very mindful, still having a structure in the home that would work for mom and dad and baby or babies.
True.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we have to. So when we have the talk and stuff, we'll come up with a schedule. If it's one baby, it's easy because one baby is like, we make it harder than it is because again, hormones playing. Dad is insecure because baby going to get all dad's attention that dad normally would get. So then dad is halfway insecure. Mom is like feeling inadequate, and then we have this baby. So that's why we sit and we have discussions. Okay, tell me what your instincts are as a mom. So it's not like you're coming in and take over because we have moms that immediately they have that maternal instinct. We have other moms, it kicks in later, and it have moms,
Mm-hmm.
it never kicks in.
Oh, wow.
I
Yeah,
have a question for you.
yes,
So, this for so long,
yeah,
what kind of distress have you seen in dad? Because we've seen we know about mom. She goes in the closet and she's constantly crying, or she
yeah,
doesn't want to touch the baby.
yeah.
With dad, what would be some distress signs that you would see in dad? Because
Anger,
most dads are off hands.
yeah,
Mom does everything, so that
yeah,
wouldn't be a sign. What were some signs you would identify?
anger. A lot of the time they're angry and you
Oh,
don't know
wow.
they're angry. You would see it, they will angry and you talk to them and they'll answer you short. And because, again, as I was saying, they think that this baby is coming in and take over. And that's not what it is. And that's why you have to make dad comfortable. Dad, listen, we understand this new baby come, the baby is home, but we have to let dad understand he's still very important in the home. So anger is one of the main things. A lot of the times you will hear the mom and dad bickering. I hear a lot of that, a lot of fighting. And sometimes, you hear it and you have to be mindful because remember, you don't want to be intrusive. But again, sometimes you have to knock.
Mm-hmm.
Dad, can I see you a minute? I need help with something. So you kind of deflate the situation because you see it happen a lot. Another time you would watch dad and he would be eating like a pregnant woman. Yeah.
Stressful eating.
Yes, stress eating. So you see dad just eating a little everything, and he would keep saying, I'm gaining weight and I'm gaining weight, and I haven't been able to go to the gym. And then mom would be like, well, no, you can't go to the gym because we have a new baby, So it's kind of like mom needs dad. Dad feels like mom doesn't need him. Mom only wants the baby. So then I have to be the mediator in the middle, like, okay, mom and dad, you all do your thing. I got the baby. So that's kind of how it is sometimes. It doesn't always flow as we think it would be because we see all these TV shows, they bring the baby home and baby sleeps. Baby doesn't sleep. Baby
Fake
doesn't.
news. Fake
Yeah.
news.
No, it doesn't. And I tell
Right?
parents, babies would cry, a new baby, at least 2 hours a day. That's another thing you have to be mindful too. They cry at least 2 hours. They sleep 18, 20, 19. It depends on the babies. So again, you have to watch for signs. We have this thing we talk with babies and we talk, baby, this baby has colic and that baby have colic. Most of the time they say babies have colic. They don't. So all those are
Really?
signs you have to teach parents what to look for. Babies do cry. I say to parents constantly, your baby will cry because that's how they speak to you. So one of the first thing from the first night I am on a job, by the next day I can tell you exactly what that baby needs. They
Wow.
cry differently every time. They will tell you if they poop. They will tell you if they need to just snuggle, if they have gas, if they're wet, if they tell you everything. You just have to listen to their sounds. If they yelp, then well, okay, he probably has a poop. Some babies would sleep in it. They would sleep in the poop. Other babies, as soon as they poop, change them. So you
Wow.
have to start to learn your baby in that sense that you have to listen. You have to listen because a baby tells you. So I teach mom and dad what to listen for. Sometimes we'd be outside, we'd be eating or something, and I would be like, when the baby cry, I would say, okay, what is going on now? You know, and so you teach them that, how to listen to the sounds of the baby. So you know, that's one of the most important things you can do when you get on these jobs. Teach mom and dad to know.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of what they do now, because again, remember, having a baby now has become so commercialized. So they have something. Oh my God, okay, they have something on the in the crib, and if the baby move and the baby heart rate goes up,
That's true. The alarm.
You understand? If you learn your baby cries, because you will put a camera anyhow, no matter who's there, they have 122 cameras. So you know a camera is there. They know what's happening. So they would know, if you listen to your baby's cry, you will know if something is wrong. If you know your baby fusses every 2.5 hours because you get my food ready, you know, then you would know, okay, nothing is happening. Let's go check. So that's why I tell people it's important to check on your baby. So I have dads come check the baby. Just go check and see what's going on with the baby. You know? Yeah, because little things we don't look for that we should. Because new babies and preemies and stuff would be a whole different topic. Because if you have a preemie, that's where you feed on demand. With a normal baby, you get a schedule in place. And when you work on that schedule, it makes your life easy as a mom because it gives you time to take that shower that is so evasive. It gives you time to sit down and have a proper breakfast so you'll be able to feed your baby healthy. You know? And sometimes some part of that, not eating correctly and eating the wrong things, sometimes the baby develop allergies, and that's how colic, because right now they don't have to tell you, well, this is what causes colic. Nobody can tell you that. They can say a lot of stuff. They have theories of what could cause it. So that's another thing you teach parents. Eat correctly. Mom, protein is your best friend. You have to leave out certain gaseous vegetables because that is not going to make your breast milk be healthy for baby. Baby would scream all the time. Baby wouldn't want to take the boobs. So it's so much that you have to teach mom and dad that it seemed like it's something they will know, and then you realize no, they really don't know that. Yeah, they don't.
We have a comment from a dad, Benjamin Silvestre. He says, so true. When I became a dad, I definitely felt out of place in my own home. What would you recommend for a dad who feels like an outsider looking in the whole, you know, parenting cycle, especially the first couple of months or the first couple of weeks of the birth of this baby? What would you do while you're there to have dad feel included in the process?
A number of things. I will have conversations. I have a lot of conversations with dad. As I said before, I have a lot of conversations with dad, and then you start teaching dad. So you're having conversations, but you're teaching that, okay, this is expected. This is how you may feel because it's a new baby. He took your space with your wife, but that's not what the deal is. So you have to explain that to dad. You have to teach dad, okay, come, your turn to change the diaper. Your turn to feed the baby. So that's why even breastfeeding moms, I encourage them to pump so dad could do a bottle feed. Because if you leave dad out and you make this baby, it's just you and this baby, what is dad's use?
Then the father becomes isolated.
Exactly. So that's why I always include dad. At times I would leave dad and tell her, okay, let's go outside for a walk. Let dad stay with the baby. Because dad has to learn. So when the baby's a little older, she and I will go out. Let's go to the pharmacy if we have to pick up something, or let's go to the super. Well, now things change because of COVID, but before pre-COVID, we could have gone outside. Or even if 3 of us outside, let dad push the stroller. When the baby gets big enough, if we have the carrier, let dad carry the baby. So we have conversation. Okay, dad, while we walking in the street, this is what you do. You don't do this. You don't push the stroller this way. This is how you use the stroller in the street. This is how you lift the stroller. You don't bump the baby. You know? So you teach dad. Most of the times when dad is with us, I leave dad to do most of the stuff out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because you realize
do you find that they're welcoming to it?
Most of them are. 98%. Let me tell you who's not so much. The older dads. Especially if they're on the second family. So let's say dad has a 30-something year old or a 25-year-old, that first divorce and dad remarries, right? What happens? He's starting this new family because he wants to appease his new wife,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not what he really wants, but new wife wants 2 children, right? So then sometimes they're really not into it. Because I've had conversation with these dads and they're like, that's not what we're doing.
Wow.
I didn't want this, but she wanted it, and I want to make her happy, so I do it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you find that causes more distress on the woman, on the mother, that now she's thinking this is another level of bonding between my new husband and my new baby, and now dad is like, oh no, I've done this already. That's on you. You wanted this experience. Enjoy yourself.
Yeah. And again, good topic, because that's what happens. Because a lot of the times, that's just how dad feels. No matter what you say to that dad, especially if it's one of these finance guys who probably have their own businesses and they work 20-hour days and that kind of thing, and they travel all the time, they're really not interested. I mean, absolutely no interest until probably the baby's a little older.
They're independent.
We have dads like that. Because
Okay.
I tell people, my husband never held my daughter until she was 3 weeks old. He thought she was small, and he would play with her in the bed, he would touch her and stuff, but he never held her until she was 3 weeks, because she was a little bigger, because my baby was small.
Mm-hmm.
Right? She was 6 pounds 2 ounces. She was a little baby, so he was like, So same thing with these dads. Some of them, they're like, no matter what you do, I'm not interested. I will give you the money, and you do whatever you need to do, but I'm not interested.
So would that be a form of distress?
Yes and no. It would be distress for mom, not really for dad. Because mom wants dad to be, because it's like, okay, I know his children, they don't like me so much, or maybe one might like me because I'm the young wife. So she wants her husband to be involved. And then a lot of the times that's not what happens.
Wow.
Really not. And then let me tell you what too. A lot of these dads, most of their friends, so let's say it's a 50-something dad. So most of his friends have college-age children, so they feel they know everything because they've been through it. And let's say he's a first-time dad. Let's say he never had a first set of children. This is his first, right? He would be the one that would be like, okay, you do this and you don't do that. And that's why I tell people you have to just shut all of those voices out. Because those are the clients, the people that you work with that are hardest. Because my friend said, this is what I do. And my friend said, that's what I do. What worked for your friend may not work for you.
True.
And you have to be very careful about that. That's why I'm careful with telling a lot of people I work with about reading. Because the typical new mom would read 5 books, 6 books. And 98% of the time, most of what they read in the book is not real life when that real baby comes.
Wow.
You realize?
Or it's not retained.
It's not. And even if it's retained, it may work for John's baby. It may not work for your baby. So that's why we have to be very mindful how we take some of this information. Because everybody thinks they know. Everybody who has a kid think that I know about babies. You know about your baby.
True.
About your friend's baby.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So sometimes you have to shut down some of those voices. So sometimes, I have to get into some of these clients' heads. Like, no, this is not what we do. You try and get your instinct working. Because it come like you would have a baby. I'm sure if you have 4 kids, I have 1. And if my daughter is not happy, I sense it. She's 27 years old. I feel it in my stomach. Because I was one of those moms, immediately, I connected with my baby. Because I was almost 30 when I had her. I was a few months less 30. In my country at that time, that was old. I was an old mom. All the other moms were 17 and 18 and 20 and 21. I was an old mom. So that connection with my baby came immediately. That's not the norm. So that's another thing you have to tell moms. Okay, we have to be mindful that your friend may have connected with their baby.
And, even culturally, you brought up a good thing. Culturally, we think that, okay, so I'm from this culture and
Yeah.
my culture says I'm supposed to do this. I'm from this culture and
Yeah.
my culture says I'm supposed to do that. I'm supposed to do this. And again, it's what is it that's going on for you?
That's correct.
Now you're in the US. So
Yeah.
what does the US, how do you blend the US with your culture of what is happening to make it a good balance for you and your baby? How do
Yeah.
you connect with your child when when you hear about, okay, in this culture they're the yin and yang, you're not going outside, you're staying in the house, and people don't come and visit, they don't hold the baby, and
Yeah.
then this culture is like, well, no, you could give it to this person, that's what you go to sleep, and you call this person. So there's a lot of, I'm not going to say mixed messages, but different things that happen. Like
Mixed
if you have
messages.
this best girlfriend, she wants to come over and help because she's single and she doesn't have anything to do, and you can't say no. That's not in the culture. My girlfriend's not supposed to do this. My mom's supposed to do it, but mom is all in another state.
Okay, so that's a great topic you brought up. A lot of the clients, they have the in-laws and the moms and all of that. The first few weeks of the baby's life, okay, they might have a best friend. You can't tell her, don't bring your best friend, because it's like me and mine. It's like, you
Mm-hmm.
can't tell me my best friend not important to me in every aspect of my life. So I can't tell you that, but I can say, okay, because first of all, when you're not there in the hospital, how many people came in to visit? Right? How many people take?
Mm-hmm.
Because in our country, we know it takes a village. Here, they say it takes a village, but nah, that is not what it is. So they would have already had the people to take pictures and all of that in the hospital. So when you are home now, I try gently to say, well, listen, give mom and baby 2 weeks, three
Mm.
weeks before you bring
Okay.
visitors in. You have an in-law that's close by, or sometimes they come from out of state, they come from another country. Yes, they can come, but let them come a certain time, because we already starting to put the baby in a schedule. We're not breaking the schedule because grandma want to come hold baby for 6 hours. Because when grandma leaves, then you're in trouble. Or when
Yeah.
best friend leaves, because best friend doesn't have any kids. Best friend thinks she gets a toy. So she is coming in and thinks she has a little doll. And wait if it's two babies. They want to take pictures with all these babies because my best friend has twins. But at the end of the day, that's not helping mom. It's not helping dad. It's
Mm-mm.
not helping the household. Because when you
Mm-hmm.
hold a baby, because I have my best friend again, she said she held her baby all the time because that's what she knew. But she has the easiest babies in the whole world. Even now, they're still the easiest. And they're
Wow.
grown. You
Oh,
understand? So
wow.
that's the difference. Your baby may not be that. One thing I don't do in doing my job is hold a baby all day. I train a baby to be able to pacify themselves. I teach mom and dad to, this is what we do. This is the period of time we have. Mom, if you're breastfeeding, this is the period of time you have to breastfeed. When you're done, dad, you do the burping. So you will burp for 15, 20 minutes, rub baby, change baby's diaper. If you have to change baby's clothes, you do that. You make sure you get all the gas expelled. And then we swaddle baby and we put baby down. You
Yeah.
understand? So baby understands, because I'm telling you, babies are like sponges. Whatever you allow them to do, that's when we come in with the regulating and the facilitating, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, facilitating is holding that baby all day, and the doctor tell you feed the baby whenever he needs to eat. Don't do that. Don't do that. Doctor only, you see doctor for 5 minutes in the office. Doctor
Yeah.
not coming home with you. So you have to make your baby so comfortable that baby knows she would eat or he would eat at 7 o'clock in the morning. Baby knows he has or she has half an hour, 3/4 of an hour for snuggle time, bonding time, because bonding time is important for the mental and physical development. We understand all of that. But you have, when you start, when you set that precedent from early, it makes your life easy in the back end. Those who
Well,
get the new babies and they get, yes, I'm sorry, go ahead.
yeah, but I mean, not even in the back end, just in general,
In general.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Because, our biggest stressors is that, oh my God, I don't have time to go take a shower. I don't have time to eat. I don't have time to sleep. I need a nap. And
Mm-hmm.
it seems like, when you have the baby trained,
Yeah.
correctly,
Yeah.
right? Where now you have that time.
Yeah.
You can feel comfortable enough to go take a shower and not have, to worry about the baby's going to wake up in that time. You could schedule yourself to when do I
Exactly.
take a shower? When do I eat?
Yeah.
When do I take a nap? Not in between the baby taking a nap. And then I feel guilty because I
Yeah.
didn't hear anything or I need to
Mm-hmm.
sleep on the floor
Mm-hmm.
and everything like that. And that can drive someone crazy.
That's the truth.
Question
Yeah.
for you on that. So, what if have you encountered moms, as you've been doing this for a long
Yeah.
time, you must have a
Yeah.
mom who doesn't want to deal with the baby.
Oh
So she
yeah.
comes home and she's just so detached and removed for the
Oh yeah.
entire experience.
Oh yeah.
What would you recommend? And Darlise, after she answers, I need you to piggyback on the mental part of it.
Yeah.
Coping with this mom who doesn't want to deal. She was so happy before when she was pregnant. The baby came, and now she's coming home, and she's like, I don't want to hold the baby, or she's
Yeah.
just afraid.
Yeah.
What are the recommendations that you guys have, or how did you handle that
Okay.
situation?
I was just going to give you one of a synopsis. I had a baby once years ago. Well, I had a few, but this is one of the main ones. And the baby didn't have colic. The baby had bad gas. And as soon as she came home with that baby, she was totally detached. I meant she wouldn't even look at the baby. She wouldn't look at the baby. So I realized what was happening. So I make, oh, how are you doing something? And I make small talk, but I will try for this baby not to cry too much because it agitated her a little more when the baby cried.
Wow.
So when I realized that, so I'll have conversations with Queen. I realize it irritates you a little, but I understand how you're feeling. Take your time and work it out. I got the baby. So what I would do after a couple of days, I will come and sit on the chair with her. If she's, let's say she's on the sofa, I'll come on the sofa and I'll sit next to her, but I would not put the baby on the side where she's sitting. I'll hold the baby on my other side because I felt she would have hurt the baby.
Wow.
Yes, I felt she would have. So I will talk to her and I will talk to the baby, kind of like the third party, and mom this and and baby this. And I will talk to her. And then eventually I would get her to touch the baby's feet. Yeah, or touch the baby's hand. And I'm like, she's okay. I said, she'll cry a little, but she'll be fine. I said, Mom, you'll be fine. This is normal. I said, a lot of us as moms, this is how we feel. So you can't make mom feel that she's, oh my God, oh, you're doing something so wrong because you can't connect with your baby. Again,
Mm-hmm.
just as every baby is different, every mom is different. We have all
Mm-hmm.
these expectations that this is what should happen. 98% of the time, it's not what happens. So that's the time you have to talk mom out of it. Some moms, you can talk as much as you want, it doesn't happen. You have to talk to the husband so he can get her to a doctor. Because sometimes
Wow.
she wouldn't listen to
Mm-hmm.
you. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
you just here for the baby, but this is how I'm feeling, and nobody can change that. So you talk to dad. Okay, dad, do you realize mom is doing this? Do you realize that her demeanor shifted since she came home? Tell me what because he would, okay, remember they're in a room together, so he probably would
Mm-hmm.
see certain behaviors I would not see. So I would ask dad, okay, what is different? What changes have you seen? And then dad will tell you, well, okay, this is what I'm seeing, this is what I'm noticing. And then dad now has to try to make mom comfortable. Go take a walk around the block with mom because mom, if she had a C-section, mom may not be ready to walk 2 blocks. But at least let's just walk outside and get some fresh air.
Mm-hmm.
But dad has to show mom a little more love, little more snuggles, because sometimes that's
Mm-hmm.
all mom needs to feel like, okay, I can do this. Because a lot of the time, what causes it, mom feels as if she can't do it. And eventually that mom became an amazing mom.
Wow.
She
That's
became
good.
an
That's a great
amazing,
turnaround.
yeah. She talks about me all the time because I saw it early. I had another mom the day I walked in the door. She was screaming, "Oh, she wants to take my baby! She's taking my baby!" And that's what's her behavior with me coming in. So
Wow.
I had to take the baby, put the baby down, and I had to calm mom because no, I didn't come to take the baby. I came to help you. Came to help you heal, to help dad, so dad could help you take care of the baby. So when I leave, so it's that kind of thing. So again, different moms, different behaviors, but you have to be so alert to different behaviors. I had another one, she would take the remote. I'm not a TV person. She would watch a show on the TV. We sit, she watching the show, we just sitting there. And when she's done, she would take the remote and go in her room. So I knew
Wow.
what it was. She had a colicky baby. Again, that's what I'm saying. People have to really figure out their babies. And if the baby, because people tend to say, oh, he has colic. That baby was colicky. And most of the time you can recognize it because of how they cry, when they cry, and how long they cry.
Mm.
So this baby would scream literally, Jack. I'll never forget Jack. Jack will scream from like 4 to 4:30 in the afternoon until 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. Jack will turn, his lips will get blue.
Ooh.
Yeah. That was one of the jobs that I made up the most songs, and everybody who know me know I can't sing. I was the best singer because my voice was the only voice that suited Jack. And I
Wow.
think that made mom go like she couldn't deal. So again, those are the things we have to look for. We have to look, we have to listen, because the baby screaming so much can make mom trip.
Someone just asked, Rhonda Duff Baptiste just asked, what is the difference between the gas and the colic?
Okay, gas is a tummy ache, right? Colic is sometimes, long ago, a bad colic baby, they will give them baby Zantac. So that's for, right? Now they try not to, because they have all these gripe waters and stuff that you can use. With gas, you can work with that baby. You can learn the massages that could help push that gas out. That needing, like how you need dough. That's how you kind of do the tummies to help expel that, right? Colic, a lot of the time, nothing helps a colicky baby. A real colicky baby, that baby just has to cry that out.
Wow.
Yeah, a colicky. That's why I tell people, don't say the C word. It kind of like how people wouldn't say the C word. Don't say the C word. You're hoping that's not what it is. Because some colicky babies, nothing can calm them. I mean, absolutely nothing. And those are the babies you have to get medicated. And a lot of times, these modern moms don't want to medicate the babies.
Yeah. And, and again, we go to, as we're listening, I feel the stress, and I don't even have a baby, and I feel the stress, like, oh my goodness, could you imagine this child is like screaming all these hours, and it comes to a point where you're going to lose your mind, or this poor baby, you feel so sorry for the baby, and what can I do, right? And as human beings, we turn around and looked at us. What did I do to cause my baby to be crying like this, right? Then we already had our negative core beliefs about ourselves, and so now the baby's crying. It's me. I did it. It's my energy. It's my milk, and it's my this that is causing the baby. And that was a really good question, Rhonda, because with the gas, we go with eating, right? What do we eat? What are we putting in our bodies if we're breastfeeding, even if we're pumping? What's going on in this breast milk, right? With lactation. So that's an issue in itself, lactation and nipples and everything. And I know you're going to touch a little bit on that, but what is coming out of the breast milk is, if you're not having all those proteins, if you're having cabbage and you're having broccoli, and or you're smoking or drinking, right? Some people, oh no, the doctor says I can have a cup, 1 glass of wine. Well, remember, if you're breastfeeding, the baby's going to have a glass of wine with you. If you're smoking stop the growth of the baby, right? It's not just you that you're affecting this baby also. So all those things that is coming through you, your energy, what you're eating, how you're thinking, how you're approaching this baby, you've become an empath to the baby. So if you're nervous, this child is going to have anxiety.
Yep. Exactly. And then too, you have to look for, like in colicky babies, when they scream, they yelp. It's a different song. That's why I say you learn your baby's song. So if something changes, sometimes babies in the beginning, the first week or two, no colic. but sometimes they develop it as they go along. So they have to listen. And if you realize what they do, they arch their back, they get tense. And some of these babies, it's unable to soothe them. You can't, as I said, you cannot. So you have to be very, 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 very mindful. They stiffen their bodies with gas. Yes, they will you will see them stiffen their bodies, but you can work gas out. You can get us some dry water and you rub their back enough, and that gas would expel. A colicky baby, that ain't it. They're in pain. They're literally in pain. You can do it because they have all the colic drops. Just like how they have the gripe water, they have the colic drops. So you can get that and try it. I tell parents, use it. It would not harm your baby. You can use it 8 times for the day, but you have to be able to look for signs. Look and see if you see changes in babies eating. So then baby's not interested to eat. Baby just wants to scream because baby's discomfort. That discomfort just overtakes the entire baby. So we have to be so mindful to look at the arched back and the tense body and not being able to soothe that baby. I've had, out of the years, I'm doing this over 18 years, and I've had 2 particular babies. I know their names. I can tell you everything that when they want you to stay longer. No, because you need a minute. I worked in Palo Alto one time, and they had this place, Evie, again, what you're doing, people don't understand how important it is. They had this place for moms, distressed moms, who could have gone and leave the baby there, go take a few hours for themselves, and come back and get the baby. Because they had issues where people hurt their babies. I mean, serious issues. We don't hear about it in the news. I mean, serious issues. So that's why I tell all my kids that I think are my kids, if you feel overwhelmed, put the baby down and walk away. Because when a baby is crying enough, it can get to you. That's why I tell people a crying baby does nothing mentally to me. In my spirit, I feel like I just want to get this baby calm. Right? But everybody's not like that. I am a crying baby, and it does absolutely nothing here. Because I know that baby's telling me I need help. Something is happening. So that's why you have to listen. So then you would know if one of the cries change, you know something that's happening shouldn't be happening. You know, so that's when you have to now probably call your pediatrician. This is not how he cries. The cry changed for the last day. He's crying more. He's not eating. If he does eat, he's spitting everything up. That is signs you have to look for.
Yes. You said something that's key. If the baby is crying so much that you walk away and you take that minute, but what if you have that person who's like, where am I gonna go? I can't just
the house. Baby. Go in the bathroom and close the door. Put the tap on. Because let's be fair, especially us living in New York. Most of us live in apartments, right? Some of us we're fortunate to have a house, so you can leave and go in the basement. You understand? And again, you can't leave the baby to cry for an hour. That's abuse. You cannot. But sometimes you just need that 2 minutes to walk away to clear your head, so you don't feel like you want to take that baby and you understand? It happens.
And some people, what I found was that some people, like, they'll pass judgment, right? And we're not here to pass judgment, and what we're here for is to kind of give you those warning signs and what you can do safely, right? Because walking away, putting the baby down safely and walking away is a better way than these tragic stories that we hear because of that, that psychotic break, that enough is enough. I can't take it anymore. I need help. I need someone to just come and take this baby from me before I do something. I had one client that would pass judgment all the time when they would hear these horrific stories until she had a baby. And when she had her baby, and she was like, oh my God, this is what they're talking about, because the baby kept crying and she wasn't sleeping. She wasn't eating. She was tired. She just needed a break and she couldn't get a break. And it was that breaking point that now it's like, oh, this is what they're talking about. Now I can relate. We have Gail that says, true, I found that colic putting my son in an automatic swing or taking a ride in the car works every time. For some, it works. But like you said, if you're in New York, if you're in New Jersey, It's snowing that day. Hi. Right? She's lucky that that works.
Yeah, some of them you can put them in a car and drive, nothing happens. Again, different babies. Different babies. So you have to figure out a way because okay, like me, I am not a fan of swings because you get these babies addicted. It's like a drug. It's like a drug. So even if they get a pretty swing as a gift and stuff, I'm like, yeah. But don't have your baby and that's the baby falls asleep in a swing and you think, oh my God, I could get to sleep. Because again, you set a precedent, you have to follow through. Because that's going to be your life. The baby wouldn't sleep no other way but swinging. So sometimes you can do it for a few minutes because that might be what would make the baby calm down. If you realize you cannot manage because you feel like you're overwhelmed, put the baby on the swing if you have a swing. You know, they have all this little stuff now because again, how commercialized again, I said it is. There's always something that somebody has in their home that moves.
Yep.
Right? So sometimes even if you have a little bouncer, you just take your feet, a foot, and you put on the bouncer and you bounce it a little bit so that baby could calm down. And then you stop when the baby starts falling asleep. Because if you keep doing that and that baby gets used to that, what are you setting up? Right?
That's so true.
It comes like an addiction. That baby will be addicted to being swung on a swing like that.
Wow.
Be very careful doing that kind of thing. So I always try to get babies to self-soothe. That's why, again, I remember years ago, I never gave my daughter a pacifier because in my country, a pacifier was a taboo. Now in the US, with all the new regulations and the, and the Academy of Pediatrics and all of that, they like, okay, this is what you do, and this is what could avoid SIDS. And no, it can't. You don't know. You could give a baby a pacifier because it helps. It soothes the baby because that's what babies do. They suck. That's what they do, right? I remember there was this book I read years ago. It was Dr. Karp. And they talk about the 5 S's. And it's so crazy. Before I read the book, I was doing that, not realizing somebody wrote a book about it, right? Where you soothe your baby, you swing your baby, you give you have the baby suckle, you put the baby on the side of the stomach. It's little things, you swaddle the baby. My biggest thing in doing this is learning to swaddle. This couple of months, first few months, a swaddle is your best friend. I do, well, my friend Rhonda calls it a key swaddle. My swaddle different to every baby nurse I know because my babies can't get out of my swaddle and they're safe in there. But they have what we call the dummy swaddles that has a little Velcro that you always have a couple of those in your house because sometimes that's the only way a baby would sleep. And especially too, if a baby has bad gas, sometimes that's swaddling because you're feeling as if you're in mom's womb still, and you feel comforted. So that's another thing that's very, very important. If you have a colic baby, you have a baby with a lot of gas, a lot of times people say, oh, the baby don't like the hands inside the swaddle. Oh, your baby don't like the hands in the swaddle. Your baby don't have a clue what even happening. Some people say, oh, they don't like the hands. That's appearance. That's nothing to do with the baby.
It's so funny. It's so funny you said that because I used to try and swaddle Hannah, and every time she managed to get one little leg out. So I would find one little leg out of the swaddle, and I would because you know how they have like little frog legs, and their legs just crawl up underneath them.
Yeah.
I would swallow her in, wake up, that little leg is always out. I was like, I never understood how to do a good swaddle. I wish you were here 7 years ago. So I could bundle her up because
it makes a difference.
Does work. It
makes the difference. Yeah, it makes a difference. And a lot of the time people say, you swaddle the baby and the baby keeps coming out. You just have to learn a swaddle because a baby cannot move their weight when they're so young. So if you swaddle a baby well enough, and every part of the swaddle, you stick it under the baby. You do everything, get it under the baby. When that baby lying there, they can't move to get themselves out. If the swaddle is loose, then they can come out. But if you have that swaddle in a way that the baby's arms can't move, but there's a way in order to do it, that will make your life easy because that will give you sleep. Because when that baby is so comfortable and that baby is being suckled, think what will happen. The baby will sleep. And when the baby sleeps, it gives you a couple of hours that you can sleep. Because sometimes that's all you need. You just
Yep.
need that time that you can zen. Because taking care of a baby is hard work. It's hard work. And if they have a bigger sibling, it's even harder work, because then that bigger one becomes so needy. Because mom brought that home and it took all of
And it's not a
my
puppy.
attention away.
It's not a puppy.
No. Exactly. Because I can't play with it. I can't pull the tail. I can't pull it out of the crib. So that's why you have to be so mindful, because they will pull it out of the crib. I promise you.
Yes.
Wow.
They would.
Ladies, I cannot believe where the time went. This was such a good conversation. I just wish we had more time. But before we go, I just want to leave our audience with some takeaways. So, what would be some advice that you would leave for our dads and our mom who's watching about the coming home, which they refer to the fourth trimester when you're home with the baby? What would be some advice from you, Kieran, from you, Darlise?
Let me go first.
Go ahead.
I always say ask for help. Ask for help. Especially the first week, let's say the first week, because we have moms think that they can do it because I want to do it alone. You can't. It doesn't work like that. Ask for help. Dad, give dad the baby for a second so you can take a shower and you can have a good meal. Interchange. Dad, hand the baby to mom. Let that be mom bonding time. While dad gets a good meal or gets an hour's sleep. Same thing with mom. So mom could get an hour's sleep. You wouldn't believe that power nap, what it does for you. So ask for help. We keep saying it takes a village. Sometimes you don't have a village. But again, that same best friend who would come, ask for help. Have that best friend come so you can be able to hand the baby to the best friend so you can close your eye for an hour. Or you can take a proper shower.
I took a whole lot away from this. I'm like, oh, geez, where were you? Years ago. I'm like, what? Are you serious? This is what I had to do? But mentally, we go back. Yes, I am, a psychotherapist. I'm a counselor. However, the mind is very powerful. That help, that support, that the sleep, the having that time for yourself to not lose yourself makes a difference. Because if you don't lose yourself, then you're not going to lose the baby. So getting that, being aware of the signs and symptoms of depression, of, not wanting to deal with the baby, feeling, overwhelmed, feeling guilty, having mood swings. We talk a lot about dads. Dads go through the same thing too. They have some postpartum depression, and it's looking at your partner and to see, when we're saying dad, and now we have to get, to the new world, your partner, whatever you're going through, your partner may be going through the same thing. The feeling of rejection, the feeling of this person is taking over my time. So just being very cautious and conscious about what are you feeling? How are you feeling? Doing that self-inventory. There is a self-test for depression. It's the PHQ. And PHQ-9, it's like 9 questions. You ask about if you're feeling more interest, less interest, is it not at all, severe, moderate, and at the end, you score it. That can bring you to like, oh shoot, I didn't know this is how I was with all of this. It's time for me to go back to, to talking to someone or going to the pediatrician and saying, hey, is there someone I could talk to? Yeah. Calling the National Alliance for Mental Health when you are feeling like you're depressed or you are feeling suicidal or homicidal, that you're just feeling overwhelmed. Those are all important things, and you're not crazy if you ask for help. No. You're asking for help to be a better mom, a better person, a better tomorrow for you and your family. So support is great. Asking for help is great. Taking inventory of yourself and your mental health is awesome.
Wow. Thank you, ladies. And thank you for everyone who is watching. I just want to drop a little plug. Our next talk series will be in November, the 18th, I believe. It's going to be depression, mental health, and the church. I really hope everyone could join us. And thank you for giving me an hour of your time and listening to these wonderful women. Have an amazing evening. Thank you again. Good night.
Good night. Bye bye.
Bye bye.